2 weeks ago, I put up this BitPod where basically I said that there were two things that were going to influence Bitcoin's price over 2023, 2024, and 2025. However, I forgot about two major things that we're going to talk about in this video. So in that video that I put up where I said, hey, this is the Bitcoin update, these are the two things, I was basically looking at the Bitcoin ETF. This is basically demand, right? This is demand coming into the network. And then the other thing I talked about was the Bitcoin halving, right? And the halving is an event when the reward for mining Bitcoin transactions is cut in half. This would be a supply shock to the network. So you have the Bitcoin ETF, which would be the demand, and then you have the halving, which is a supply shock.
But I forgot about two super important things.
And the first is basically that if we go into a recession, there could be a serious problem where then we need to print money. So that's the third thing. Maybe we're going to print money. And Anthony Pompliano talked about it in his tweet where he said, be fearful of a recession when you see lots of articles mentioning the idea of a soft landing. This Bloomberg analysis shows optimism peaks right before a recession hits. And if you look at the analysis, you'll see that basically there's a peak right before the dot-com bubble. There's a peak right before the 2008-2009 housing crash or financial crash in the United States, which obviously affect the global, the global economy, the world. And then you can see where we are now in 2023, right before we go into 2024, there's all these ideas of a soft landing. So if a recession happens, then there may be money printing. That's number three. And then the fourth is the idea that Mr. Jerome Powell, JP here, will basically have to cut rates if we do go into a recession to basically make money cheap again. Right now, money is really expensive, meaning if you want to leverage the fiat system, take debt out, it's kind of expensive. So those are the four things. And the crazy thing about it is they could all happen within the same quarter or the first quarter in 2024, which would absolutely blow minds. So we could be going into a recession, meaning then we're probably going to print money. We could be lowering interest rates, Mr. JP, Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve. We may or may not get a Bitcoin ETF also approved, which would be a demand shock to the Bitcoin network. And the halving is somewhere scheduled between April 18th to April 25th, which is Q2 of 2024. But all four of those things could happen in a 2 to 3 month period, which would, I think, launch the Bitcoin price
into the stratosphere.
But what do you think? Subscribe for more.